It's $25 for 18 holes, and yeah, I think it's probably the best value course in Victoria. It's Ballan Golf Course, and it might be one of the best kept secrets in the Melbourne golf scene. It was built in 1924 and it's just an hour from the city, and this track has it all in terms of scenery. It's got river crossings, tree-lined fairways, it's got highs, it's got lows, and it's got greens with more personality than any city course that I've played so far. Look, it's not polished, but it's a pretty cool track. It's member run and the vibes here are immaculate. Honestly, this course should be a cult classic. Rock up, tap your card, and once you get out in the course, you'll definitely want to come back again. Hole 1 starts with a downhill par 3. You hit the green and you're golden. The greens are definitely a bit funky, but it's all part of the character and the charm here. Hole 2 is a short downhill par 4. Keep the driver in the bag here. I hit a 3-wood and I was just off the edge of the green. I managed to pull a par out of the bag here after a pretty mediocre chip. The elevation of this par 3 makes it a particularly tricky one. It's only 95 meters, but it plays way longer. I ended up coming up far too short. It was a real struggle to make par here because my ball was buried, and I ended up, after all my putts and chips, taking a double here. Hole 4, there's another big elevation change. You could probably hit driver, but I went with the safe option. I pulled out the 3-wood. I hit the green from the fairway, but again I struggled to find the pace of the putting. It eventually went down and I took a bogey here. Follow along to see the back of this front 9. Cross over the river into hole 5, the first hole of the day without any major elevation changes. I stuck with the 3-wood again and I managed to hit the green with my iron. I thought I was on for a birdie, but it just got derailed en route and I took a par here. Cross back over the river for a tricky tee shot. You got to keep this one between the trees and the stream because it runs just up the right hand side of the fairway. Once you land on the fairway, there's kind of a blind pitch here onto the green, and again I just kind of came up a bit short and got held up in the hill. Luckily the grass was pretty short up here or I wouldn't have found it. I didn't catch it great, but it worked out okay and I finished up 2 putting here for a bogey. Hole 7 is a tricky par 3 here again with some elevation changes. You can't be short and you have a narrow tree line that you've got to strike through. I went long and ended up at the back of the bank. I rolled it fairly well back onto the green, but I missed the putt. Get in! And I took another bogey here. There's a big change at hole 8, which brings you across the road and into the start of the flat section of holes. I brought out the driver for this one and I nearly chipped in from 20 meters and I ended up taking a bird here. Went back to the trusty 3-wood and I ended up hitting a tree on the left of this fairway and it bounced back about 50 meters, which left me a long way from the hole. I hit a 5-iron and that came up short and I had a chip from about 20 meters, which rolled into the hole and I finished out the front line with back-to-back birdies. I was pretty pleased with that because it essentially cancelled out my bogey on the 3rd and made my round look a lot more respectable. I was 4 over on the front 9, so follow along to see if I can break par on the back 9. Not the ideal start here really on the back 9 because I pulled my drive straight into the trees. All you can do from here is hack it back onto the fairway. Now I'm not exactly renowned for my putting skills, so I was happy enough to have hit the green, 2-putt and take a bogey here. Hole 11, the par 3s here are a real sticky point for me. I should have hit the green really, but my chip back was actually quite decent. I just couldn't read the speed of this green and it took forever and a day to put away my second double bogey on a par 3 today. At hole 12 you see the first par 5 of the course. I kind of scuffed my drive so it didn't really travel that far at all and I was a long way from the hole, so I just kept tapping it along until eventually I ended up on the green. I had an outside look at birdie, but with my drive I was pretty happy that I was able to take a par here. You really need to hit the fairways on these tree-lined courses or else you're going to end up struggling to make par. I ended up underneath this tree, so it was a bit of a struggle to get it to the green. Wait until you see this putt for bogey. I really have no excuse here and I end up taking a double. I made a good attempt at recovering myself after that dismal putt. I hit my drive straight down the middle and then landed my wedge on the green and 2-putted out for a par. Golf really is a simple game when you think about it. I'm 8 over after 14 holes and I'm a 10 handicap, so follow along to see if I can play to par at the back end of the back 9. I ended up in the trees a lot here, so I think I did well all things considered. My drive unfortunately just tailed into the shrubbery and all I could do was pitch it out. I have no excuses for the iron shot though, it was just a bad shot and I ended up in the trees again. The putt nearly saved me, but it just didn't fall and I took another bogey here. We cross back over the road towards the clubhouse and have a really interesting par 3 here. It's 126 metres with a big elevation change. There's water and trees short and left. I just landed off the back end of the green and I nearly chipped in after this tee shot. My putt just came up short and I ended up taking a bogey here. Hole 17, back over the water we go and onto another par 3 here, a long one this time at 181 metres. I came up just short with the 4-iron here and it had a little pitch at the green. It really should have fallen and I end up taking another bogey here. Hole 18, par 4, 250 metres. It's a narrow fairway, there's water short and left and there's big hill mounds and trees to the right. So I decide to leave the driver in the bag and I pull out the 3-wood here. I hit the fairway and I have a wedge to the green. Thankfully it holds the green and I have a putt for birdie to finish. It doesn't fall, but I'm happy to finish out on a par. I ended up 8 over on the back 9, which ended up being 12 over for the entire round. It's a tricky little course with greens that are tough to read, but the experience itself was just so fun. I don't think there are many courses like this in Melbourne. It's a course that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's good fun and it has lots of unexpected turns and twists and ups and downs. It's somewhere I would definitely recommend playing and just go out and enjoy yourself for 25 quid. If you want to see more of Melbourne's and Victoria's golf courses, follow along because I'm playing them all.